Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Babul wudu'i min ad-dami. The chapter of wuzu from blood, right? According to Ahnaf and the Hanabila, right? Uh, Blood, when it flows out of the body, it breaks the wudu. Whether it flows out from sabilain or ghair sabilain, right? According to Imam Shafi, rahmatullah alayh, whatever blood comes out from sabilain, that breaks the wuzu. And besides that, it doesn't break the wuzu. Imam Malik rahmatullah, he says if it comes out from sabilain and it is pure blood and there's been no najasat mixed with it, then it doesn't break the wuzu also. All right. If there is najasat mixed with it, then obviously now it will break the wuzu. Right. There's the ikhtilafat then. Now let's do the hadith here. وبيقول حدثنا أبو توبة الربيع بن نافع قال حدثنا ابن مبارك بن محمد بن إسحاق قال حدثنا سرقة بن يسار عن عقيل بن جابر رضي الله قال خرجنا مع رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يعني في غزوة ذات الرقاع فأصاب رجل امرأة رجل من المشركين فحلف ألا أني لا أنتهي حتى أهريك دما في أصحاب محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم فخرج يتبع أثر النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فنزل النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم منزلا فقال من رجل يقلعنا فانتدب رجل من المهاجرين ورجل من الأنصار فقال كونا بفم الشعب قال فلما خرج الرجلان إلى فم الشعب اتجع المهاجري وقام الأنصاري يصلي وأتى الرجل فلما رأى شخصه عرف أنه ربيئة للقوم فرماه بسهم فوضعه فيه فنزعه حتى رماه بثلاثة أسهم ثم ركع وسجد ثم انتهب صاحبه فلما عرف أنهم قد نذروا به هرب فلما رأى المهاجر ما بالأنصار من الدماء قال سبحان الله ألا أنبهتني أول ما رمى قال كنت في سورة أقرأها فلم أحب أن أقطعها. Right. This hadith here now is narrated from Jabir radiallahu said, we came out with Nabi Agusam, that is in the battle of Zatul Riqa. Then a man, then a man in that battle, a man had killed the wife of a man from the Mushrikeen, right? Maybe by mistake, he shot and she got killed, right? So he took an oath that he will not hold back until he spills blood and amongst the companions of Nabi Karim. So he came out following the traces of Nabi Karim. So Nabi Karim settled down at a place. Then he said, which man will guard us? Then a man from the Muhajirin and a man from the Ansar responded. So he said, stand by be there by the mouth of the valley. So he said that when the two men came out to the mouth of the valley, then the Muhajir lied down and the Ansari stood up and he recited Salah. And that man came. And when he saw his form, he knew that he is the spy for the people. In other words, he's the guard, right? So when he shot him with an arrow, then the arrow penetrated, hit him or penetrated him, right? Or it went in him, right? Then he removed it until he shot him with 3 arrows. Then he made ruku and he made sajda. Then he woke up his companion. Then when that mushrik man knew that they are now away, right? Then he ran away. Then when the Muhajir brother saw what happened to the Ansari brother from blood, he says, Subhanallah, why didn't you wait for me at the beginning of when he shot? So he said, I was in a surah which I was reciting and I did not wish to cut it off. Right? I did not wish to break it. So he was enjoying the recitation of the Quran. That's why only after he feared now that he's losing lots of blood and the army is in danger. And then only did he finish off his salah. Right? So what are the answers for the Ahnaf give to this now? Because here's a Sahabi reading while he's bleeding. Right? So the first answer you say is that this hadith is da'if. In the sanad is Aqil bin Jabir, right? He is majhul. Therefore, Imam Bukhari rahmatullahi also didn't, he mentioned this incident, but he mentioned it ta'liqan, not as the original hadith, right? Second answer we give is the action of the Sahabi. It's possible that this was his maslak, that he believed that the blood doesn't break your wuzu. The third answer is that the Sahabi was in communication with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, deep communication, and he didn't even realize that his blood was coming out. The fourth answer we say here that okay, we uh, uh, we understand that according to you, right? You say that blood when it comes out of Ghayru Sabilain, right? It doesn't break the wuzu, right? However, uh, you also agree that a lot of blood with consensus is najis, right? So how did the Sahabi now continue reciting Salah while there was so much blood on his clothes? You understand? So whatever answer you give to that, that is our answer. Fama huwa jawabukum fa huwa jawabuna. So this last point is more like a, a, a question back against those who say that it doesn't break, right? Then the Shafi, the other incident they give referred to is the incident was Umar radiallahu anhu, that in Muatta Imam Malik, Mis'ar Rahmatullah alayhi says that night when Hazrat Umar was attacked, right? I saw that Hazrat Umar was reciting Salah and the blood was running, right? So our answer to that is the incident was Umar is different because in his case he was already regarded as a ma'zur because the blood was flowing one way. You understand it? Right. What's the dalil of the Ahnaf now, right? The hadith of the Mustahaza, you understand, which is in Sahih Sita. You understand it? So if somebody says, but that is a blood which is coming out from Sabi lane, you understand? So we say, no, that correct, that is blood, but that's not the reason it is a naqis, a break of wuzu. Rather, the reason mentioned there is that it is a blood that's coming from a vein and not from the womb. You understand? So there, the whole point there is that this is blood that's coming out, and therefore you have to, and therefore your wuzu is break, your wuzu breaks. But if if it comes out so much, it becomes a ma'zur, then the laws of the ma'zur will apply to you. Then there's another hadith here, which is also in Ibn Majah and Daraqutni, right? Man asabahu kay'un aw ru'afun aw qalisun falyansarif walyatawadda thumma liyabni ala salati. Whoever vomit afflicts him or nosebleed, right? Or I think a wound, right? Then he should turn around and make wuzu and continue on his salah, right? Malam yatakallam, right? As long as he doesn't speak. So in other words, this is at mas'alatul bina, right? So this hadith here shows that the nosebleed also breaks the wuzu, right? So when it comes to blood here, then how much, what is it? Najasati ghaliza, right? It's categorized as najasati ghaliza. So according to Ahnaf, to the extent of a dirham, then it becomes wajib to wash, right? And less than a dirham, then it is better to wash, right? And more than a dirham, then it's not permissible to read salah with it. You got it? So the dirham about the hollow of your palm, right? I think they said I just read it now somewhere, okay, one exact circumference. But if you look at it, old 50-cent coin also, all right. According to Imam Shafi, he says, mutlaqan, any amount of blood, you can't read salah with it if it's on you, on your body, on your clothes. And then the second riwayat from him is yu'fa madun al-kaffi. That which is less than the palm will be forgiven. And this is the mazhab of Imam Ahmad. And according to Imam Malik, there's two riwayats. One is amount of the dirham, and one is less than the dirham, right? So which means amount of dirham will be maaf, and then that which is less than the dirham will he's got two riwayats, which means amount of the dirham will be maaf, right? Or less than a dirham will be maaf. You got it now? Right. Babul wudu'i minan nawmi. The chapter of wudu from sleep. Right. So when it comes to sleep here now, there are many mazhabs there. We'll just mention the main mazhabs, right? Lots of sleep will break the wuzu. Little sleep won't break the wuzu. This is according to Imam Malik rahmatullah alayhi in a riwayat of Imam Ahmad, right? Then they got the while standing or sitting, right? Lots of sleep. Right. Well, lots of sleep will break the wuzu. And besides standing and sitting, any sleep will break the wuzu. You got it now? So, and that's Imam Ahmad's mazhab now. Right. Then you get the third mazhab, which is Ahnaf. If you sleep whilst in the postures of Salah, then it doesn't break the wuzu as long as you're doing this postures according to the sunnah. Right. So then it doesn't break the wuzu. Right. And then any other posture when you sleep, muttaki and leaning back, lying down, you understand, on your back, lying on your side, all breaks wuzu, right? That's right. Then Imam Shafi Rahmanullah's mazhab is that sleep where your buttocks are firm on the earth, right? That sleep doesn't break the wuzu, and all other sleeps will break the wuzu. Right. Our cool also, yeah, if you split in your buttock is firm on the earth, yeah, that will also be fast. What we call it, if you sit four-legged like it. Yeah, but now if you're leaning, and then your buttocks will open up. Right. وبه قال حدثنا احمد بن محمد بن حمل قال حدثنا عبد الرزاق قال اخبرنا ابن جريج قال اخبرني نافع قال حدثني عبد الله بن عمر ان الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم شغل عنها ليله فاخرها حتى رقدنا في المسجد ثم استيقظنا ثم رقدنا ثم استيقظنا ثم رقدنا ثم خرج علينا فقال ليس احد ينتظر الصلاه غير غيركم ليس أحد غيركم, right? Narrated from Abdullah ibn Umar, Nabi was busy from us one night, and he delayed the Isha, right, until we were sleeping in the masjid, then we were waking up, then we were sleeping, then we were waking up, then we were sleeping. Then he came out to us and he said, nobody else is awaiting the Salah besides you. Right. So how does this hadith now apply to the Bab? This hadith applies to the Bab in this way, yeah, that it shows that not every sleep breaks the wuzu, which is the mazhab of Jamhur. You understand? They make distinctions between certain sleeps, right? Right. And nobody else is awaiting the Salah before you. Nabi Akram said this to Sahaba Ikram to obviously console them because they were waiting long now for him for Isha. You understand? And nobody else reading Salah beside you, waiting for Salah. In other words, those that are reading in the houses, the women folk, and those who are mazur, they have already read their Salah and went to sleep. And it could also mean the people of the other masajid, they read Salah and they already went to sleep. Or it could mean, besides, you could mean the Ahl Kitab and the Jews and the Christians, they don't read Isha Salah. Right. وبه قال حدثنا شاذ بن فياض قال حدثنا هشام الدستوائي عن قتادة أنس قال كان أصحاب رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ينتظرون العشاء الآخرة حتى تخفق رؤوسهم ثم يصلون ولا يتودعون. قال أبو داود وزاد في شعبة عن قتادة قال كنا نخفق على عهد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. قال أبو داود ورواه ابن أبي أريبة عن قتادة بلفظ آخر. Right, now from Anas said that the companions Nabi used to wait for the last Isha, right? In other Isha Salah, until the head used to bend. Then they would recite Salah and they would not make wuzu. Right, and Muhammad says that Shu'bah increases in it from Qatada and said we used to, our head used to bend at the time of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Right? And Abu Dawud says, and Ibn Urubata narrates from Qatadata with other words. Right. Yeah, there's nothing else to show there except that it says a similar meaning. Right? That your heads were bending. In other words, they were catching, like what we say, catching fish. Right. Right. وبقول حدثنا موسى بن اسماعيل وداود بن شبيب قال حدثنا حمال عن ثابت البناني ان انس بن مالك قال اقيمت صلاه العشاء فقام رجل فقال يا رسول ان لي حاجه فقام يناجي حتى نعس القوم او بعض القوم ثم صلى بهم ولم يذكر وضوءا. Right? Anas ibn Malik says that the Salatul Isha was Iqamat was given. Then a man stood up and then he said, "Oh Nabi Qasem, I've got some need." So Nabi Qasem was speaking to him until the people were dozing off, or some of the people. Then he recited Salah with him and he did not mention anything about wuzu. Right. وبي قال حدثنا يحيى بن معين وهناد بن السري وأسمان بن أبي شيبة عن عبد السلام بن حرب وهذا لفظ حديث يحيى أن خالد دالاني أن قتادة أن أبي العالية بن عباس رضي الله عنه أن الرسول كان يسجد وينام وينفخ ثم يقوم فيصلي ولا يتودع فقلت له صليت ولم تتودع وقد نمت فقال إنما الوضوء على من نام متجئا زاد عثمان وهناد فإنه إذا اضطجع استرخت مفاصله. قال أبو داود وقوله الوضوء على من نام مضطجعا هو حديث منكر لم يروه إلا يزيد دالاني عن قتادة وروى أوله جماعة عن ابن عباس لم يذكروا شيئا من هذا. وقال كان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم محفوظا. وقالت عائشة رضي الله عنها قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم تنام عيناي ولا ينام قلبي. وقال شعبة إنما سمع قتادة أن أبي العالية أربعة أحاديث حديث يونس بن متى وحديث عمر في الصلاة وحديث القضاة ثلاثة وحديث ابن عباس حدثني رجال مرضيون من عمر وأرضاهم عندي عمر. So Narayya Abdul Salam Abdul Salam bin Harb, and these and this is the words of the hadith of Yahya. So you got three ustads here. Yahya ibn Ma'in, Hanar ibn Sari, and Usman ibn Shayba. He says the words you're going to be using is of Yahya. From Khalid Dalani, from Qatada, from Abil Aliya, from Ibn Abbas. The Nabi Akram used to make sajda, and he used to sleep, and he used to take deep breaths, right? Then he used to stand and he used to recite salat, and he did not make wuzu. So I said to him, you recited salah and you did not make wuzu whilst you had slept. So Nabi Akram said, indeed wuzu is upon the one who sleeps whilst lying down, right? So this is now the matan of the hadith, right? Then Usman and Hannad, see the two other ustads here, right? They increase in this hadith. They say because indeed the one who lies down, then his joints are loose, right? And relax, right? Then Imam Buddha, he goes now to show that this portion here, innamal wudu'u ala man nama muttaji'un, right? Muttaji'. Why says Abu Dawud says this statement, al wudu'u ala man nama muttaji'un, the wudu when one sleeps lying down only. This is not a valid hadith, right? And nobody narrates it except Yazid al-Dalani and Qatada, from Qatada, right? And the first, and a Jamaat has narrated the first portion of the hadith from Ibn Abbas radiallahu, and they did not mention anything of this. Innamal wudu ala man nama muttaji'an. He's going to cover against us what's happening now, right? This portion, right? Right. And he says the companions of the Nabi Akram was protected from the fact that while he slept, his wuzu would break. So it doesn't apply to him. You understand? It doesn't apply to him. He can sleep, his wuzu won't break. We sleep, our wuzu won't break. So therefore he's saying here that this portion in wudu alam nam mutajan, it doesn't apply now even to Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And to prove this, he says, Aisha says that Nabi Karim says, my eyes sleep, but my heart doesn't sleep. So in other words, I will know if my wuzu broke while I sleep, right? And then Shu'bah says, right, indeed, Qatada heard from Abil Aliyah. So if you look at it, and Qatada and Abil Aliyah in the original sanad, right? Qatada heard from Abil Aliyah, right? 4 hadiths. And what are the 4? The hadith of Yusuf ibn Madda, the hadith of Umar in Salah, the hadith of the Qazis are 3, and the hadith of Ibn Abbas, where he says that many men who Allah is pleased with them, right? And the most pleasing of them to me is, as Umar has narrated to many men, has narrated to me, whom Allah is pleased with them, right? And the most pleasing of them, according to me, is Umar. So what he's saying here is that Qatada only narrated 4 hadiths from Abul Aliyah, right? And this hadith that we're saying here now is not amongst those 4. So which means there's a problem. You got that now? Okay, so let's go through all these points now. Khalid al-Dalani. So he's the problem Rawi here, right? They say his name is Yazid ibn Abdul Rahman, right? Right. And here in this hadith says, Kana yashud wa yanamu yanfukhu. In Tirmizi, they say they were sajidun hatta ghabta wa nafaka, until he snored and he took deep breaths, right? Right. So here it now refers to sleeping now whilst in sajda. And that's where this hadith will prove now what Ahnaf say. If you sleep while in sajda, it will not break your wuzu, right? Then you have now this here. Now this hadith is saying, Innamal mudu ala man nama muttaji'an, right? Indeed, wuzu is upon the one who sleeps whilst lying down. Whereas we find that the Anbiya alayhi salatu wasalam, if they sleep while lying down, their wuzu doesn't break. And the proof for that is the namu aynaya wa la namu qalbi, that my eyes are sleeping but not my heart, right? And then he goes now obviously to show that this portion here is not established, and he proved that from 3 ways, right? That only Abu Khalid al-Dalani is the only one narrating this portion here, right? The other narrators all narrated the first portion and not narrated the second portion, right? So therefore, he's saying this portion here is not established. And then the other point he further goes to prove is that Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is protected from this, right? So now the question comes against this hadith now. Which one? Inna yantanamu aynaya wa la yanamu qalbi. That my eyes sleep, but my heart is not sleeping. Then if that's the case, then the Laylatul Ta'ris, when they slept past the Fajr, and they only woke up when the sun rose, as a Bilal also slept, remember? So now what's the answer to that then? So they say the rising of the sun, that's got to do with the eyes. So Nabi Akram's eyes was closed, right? Whereas breaking of the wuzu, that's got to do with the stomach, right? And the heart, or the inside. And the heart was awake, so that heart will detect if the wuzu broke. You understand it? So the Anbiya alayhi salam, they mahfuz, their sleep doesn't break wuzu. Right. Then we have here now that other point, right? That Qatada have only heard from Abu Aliyah 4 hadiths. So if this is a hadith, then this hadith is munkati, because he didn't hear this hadith from Abu Aliyah, because that's the only 4 he has heard, right? So that's at the end what they say there now. The answer to this here is that innamal wudu ala man nama muttaji'an, right? If that is proven to be valid, right? Then the answer to this whole question about Anbiya alayhi salam is that Nabi Karim is saying this for the ummah and not for himself. You understand? Although the incident was about himself, but he's saying that for the ummah, that the ummah, they will have to make wudu when they sleep, muttaji'an. Right. وبقال حدثنا حيوة بن شريح الحمصي في آخرين قالوا leave it away.